Of course, things will go wrong. Move on. Don't let the little snags affect the progress of your life. With this wonderful thought, a very good morning to all my dear students. I hope that you all are in good health. This is Shreya Jadhav and I welcome you all to my e-learning channel. Today we are going to do English Grade 11, Poem 1, a photograph, and this poetry is penned by Shirley Tolson. So, before going through the reading and explanation of the poetry, let us know something about the poet. Shirley Tolson was born on 20th May 1924 in Henley-on-Thames, England. She had a huge passion on writing and was greatly influenced by her father, who was a writer too. Shirley Tolson has been writing books on the social history of the countryside since 1974. Introduction for answers. Dear students, whenever you are writing down the question answer for the examination purpose or for test, you are always supposed to start your answers with introduction. This creates a good impact. So here it goes. Poem's name, a photograph. Poet's name, Shirley Tolson. Genre, poetry. Summary. Here the poet is trying to show her love for her beloved mother who is no more and trying to recall her memories in bygone days. So now let us go through the reading and explanation of the poem. Poem 1, a photograph by Shirley Tolson. Now over here you can see that this poetry is been divided into 3 paragraphs. So let us begin. The cardboard shows me how it was when the 2 girl cousins went peddling, each one holding one of my mother's hands, and she was the big girl, some 12 years or so. All 3 stood still to smile through their hair at the uncle with the camera, a sweet face, my mother's, that was before I was born, and the sea, which appears to have changed less, washed their terribly transient feet. So over here the poet is starting and she is giving tribute to her mother. She is writing this poetry in memory of her mother, and she is observing an old photograph of her mother which is stuck in a cardboard, and it shows that in a photograph there are 3 girls and there are 2 girl cousins who went for peddling. And here peddling means to walk through shallow waters. And the poet's mother is standing in the center, and 2 other girl cousins who are holding the poet's mother hand on each side. Poet's mother over here was a big girl and she was 12 years old maybe. And they all 3 of them are standing in one parallel line. They are smiling and their face is been covered by the hair because of the wind which is blowing near the water or near the sea. Now what happened? This incident basically took before the poet was born. The poet is talking about her mother's childhood days when her mother used to be a little kid. And over here the photograph was taken by one of her uncle. The photograph is bringing back the memories of mother's childhood and before the poet was also born. So things transcend feet over here means temporary. Things are temporary over here. The memories are also temporary. Yes, because once the moment is gone, it is gone. It can never be brought back. Over here, the sea appears to have less change. There is no much change in the nature around, but the whole life journey of the mother has changed. From a small girl, she has become an adult, then she has become a married woman, then she had become a mother, and now the mother is no more. Yes, so the human cycle changes. It is temporary, but the sea remains as it is. Some 20-30 years later, she would laugh at the snapshot. See Betty and Dolly, she would say, and look how they dressed us for the beach. The sea holiday was her past, mine is her laughter, both gray with the labored ease of loss. Now, what is happening? That after 20 or 30 years later, the mother is looking at that snapshot, means the photograph, and they are laughing. Means all the three of the cousins have got together, and they are observing and viewing that photograph, and they are saying that see Betty and Dolly. These names are two girls who were holding mother's hand in the photograph. That how they used to dress up for the beach and what sort of clothes they used to wear, and they were remembering that how careless and carefree those days were. No tension, no worry, nothing. And sea holiday was really important for them, and it holds plenty of memory in her mother's life also. And she understood the difficulty to ease the loss and the void that she was feeling. Yes, because now they cannot go back in that time again. Now she's been dead nearly as many years as that girl lived, and of this circumstance there is nothing to say at all. It's silence, silences. So over here now the poet is understanding that how difficult it is when something is lost, and to get back that thing and to have that feeling back again. This is very difficult to even explain and express in words, because it is supposed to be felt. The silence is caused by the passing away of the loved ones. Just makes a person silent, and we are unable to utter any words. The photograph highlights three stages of life: the childhood of the mother in the middle age, and the period of the life of the poet after her mother's death. That how nearly and dearly the poet is missing her mother. So this is all about the poetry explanation. This is really very simple, and I can say that each one of you can connect to this poetry. So now again I am getting back to the summary of this poetry. It is the poem A Photograph is a tribute paid by poet Shirley Tolson to the memory of her mother. Old photograph of her mother when she was 12 years old, and that photograph has been pasted on a cardboard. The photograph was taken by her uncle on a sea holiday. The mother was with her cousins named as Dolly and Betty. You can see over here that in the second paragraphs the names are also mentioned. And all three of them went paddling in the sea water. Paddling means walking through shallow waters. The wind had blown their hair on their faces, which was full of smiles of joy and fun. The photograph brought back memories of the mother's childhood, much before the poet was born. Some 20 or 30 years later, the mother looked at the snapshot and laughed at the beach dresses they were made to wear, and remembered the carefree, happy days. The poet recalled that it was nearly 12 years since her mother passed. In the photograph also you can say, or we can understand through words, that in the photograph also the mother's age was 12, and the poet is writing down this poetry in the memory of her mother, and her mother is also dead nearly 12 years. When she looked at the photograph, memories of her mother's smile came to her. She understood the difficulty to ease the loss and void that pain that she was feeling. The silence caused by passing away of loved ones just makes a person silent and unable to utter any words. The photograph highlights three stages of life: the childhood of the mother in the middle age, and the period of life of the poet after her mother's death. So, over here, immensely beautifully it is being presented what and how a daughter is feeling when the mother is not with her. So, this is all about the explanation of the poetry. Now, we shall go through the figures of speech and we'll understand them in detail. Figures of speech. First one, the cardboard shows me how it was when the two girl cousins went pedaling. So the first figure of speech over here is metonymy. What is the meaning of it? An attribute or a thing is represented by another closely related to the thing. So over here, the word cardboard represents the photograph. Directly it is not mentioned over here that this is a photograph, but here the word cardboard is being given. So this becomes metonymy. The word is closely related to each other. Second one is each one holding one of my mother's hand. So the first figure of speech over here, that would be synecdoche. The meaning of it is a part stands for a whole and a whole stands for a part. We can consider like this, that any human body part which has been involved, we can say that it is a synecdoche. So over here we have the part hands, which stands for poet's mother. So instead of writing poet's mother over here, hands are being mentioned. The second one is repetition. Repetition of words and phrases to increase the musical effect of a poem. Here words are being repeated. In repetition, the words are being repeated. So over here the word one is being repeated for poetic effect. You can see over here that each one holding one. So one is being repeated twice. So when words are being repeated, this becomes repetition. Third one is, and she, the big girl, some 12 years or so, all three stood still to smile through their hair at uncle with the camera. So over here, the first figure of speech would be synecdoche, and the meaning is a part stands for a whole and a whole stands for a part. So over here we have hair. Hair represents poet's mother. So instead of writing poet's mother, they have written down hair. So this will become synecdoche. Next one is alliteration. The meaning of it is repetition of consonant sound, especially in the beginning of the word, is said to be alliteration. So over here, the consonant sound st that is ST, is been repeated in the words like stood and still. And the consonant sound the, that is TH, is being repeated in the words like three and through. So you can see that in alliteration, letters are being repeated. Initial letters are being repeated, so that will become alliteration. The next one is the fourth one. A sweet face, my mother's, that was before I was born. So here the first one would be a part stands for a whole and a whole stands for a part. So over here part, which is face, it represents poet's mother. So here we can consider like this, that instead of writing down the poet's mother, they have written or represented in terms of face. The next one is alliteration. So over here the consonant sound means repetition of consonant sounds, especially in the beginning of the word, is said to be alliteration. So here the consonant sound B or B is being repeated in the words before and born, and the consonant sound M is being repeated in the words like my and mother. So this becomes alliteration. Fifth one, and the sea, which appears to have changed less, washed her terribly transient feet. So the first figure of speech, that would be alliteration, that is repetition of consonant sounds, especially in the beginning of the word, is said to be alliteration. So here the consonant sound T is being repeated in the words like terribly and transient. The next one is transferred epithet. The meaning of it is, here epithet means adjective. So the adjective is transferred from its original noun to another closely related to. So here the adjective, that is transient, transient means temporary, and that has been shifted from life to feet, with which it is associated. In the poem also we have seen that transient feet means temporary life. Life goes on and it moves ahead. Photograph just captures that particular or specific moment or memory, which at later stage we can come to know, or which we can recall it back. So life moves ahead, photographs takes us back through that memory. So over here transient, that is shifted from life to feet. The next one is some 20-30 years later, she would laugh at the snapshot. So over here the figure of speech is the first one, that is onomatopoeia. The meaning is use of words which produce sound or echo for poetic effect is called onomatopoeia. So over here we have the word laugh. Laugh suggests a sound. So this becomes onomatopoeia. The next one is alliteration. So here repetition of consonant sound, especially in the beginning of the word, is said to be alliteration. So over here the consonant sound L is being repeated in the words like later and laugh. You can see over here how they are being repeated. So this will become alliteration. The next figure of speech, that is internal rhyme. So over here, use of two or more words which rhyme within one single line. Okay, in one single line only both the words are supposed to be there, then only it is considered as internal rhyme. If they are in separate lines, then they are considered as rhyming scheme. So there is difference between internal rhyme and rhyming scheme. So over here we have rhyming words 20 and 30. You can see that at the end we have ty, and they are being pronounced also in that way for the poetic effect. So this is considered as internal rhyme. The next one, the seventh one. See Betty and Dolly, she would say, and look how they dressed us for the beach. So over here, the first figure of speech is alliteration. That is repetition of consonant sounds, especially in the beginning of the word, is said to be alliteration. And over here, the consonant sound B is repeated in the words, that is Betty and beach. So BP sound is being repeated. And then we have S being repeated in the words like see and say. So this will become alliteration. The next one is internal rhyme. That is use of two or more words which rhyme within one single line is said to be internal rhyme. And over here we have rhyming words say and they. They both are used. They are rhyming to each other and they are being written in one single line only. So they are considered as internal rhyme. Next one, eighth one. The sea holiday was her past. Mine is her laughter. So over here the figure of speech is euphemism. The meaning of it is a brief pointed saying which is said or which is introduced with an aim to excite, surprise and attract attention is known as euphemism. Over here, a pleasant way of saying that the mother has passed away. You can see over here that sea holiday was her past, means now the mother is not there. So when in a pleasant manner some unpleasant thing is being said, like death, it is considered as euphemism. The next one, ninth one. Both fray with labored ease of loss. So here the figure of speech is oxymoron. The meaning of it is special form of antithesis where two contradictory things are used together to give an expression. Okay, this is not an antithesis, but this is a special kind of antithesis where things are being said in that mannerism and a special sort of expression is given. So over here the opposite words labored and ease are used together to convey a new meaning, that bearing the loss of the mother is difficult. Through there are good memories. Yes, labored and ease, they are almost opposite, but there is no connection over there. So over here these words are being used in such a format that it tells us and it conveys us a new meaning, that it is really very difficult, that the poet cannot bear the loss of mother, but they are having really good memories to share also. So over here labored conveys the meaning that it is difficult to bear the loss, and ease means they are having good memories to share also. The next one is 10th one. Now she has been dead nearly as many years as that girl lived. So over here, the figure of speech would be simile. The meaning is direct comparison is made between two unlike objects which have at least one common point. Words like or as are being used for comparison. So can you see over here, is like or as being used over here? Just observe and see. Yes, so over here there is a direct comparison between the time lapse of the age of the mother in the photograph and the number of years that have passed after her death. So the girl standing in the photograph was also 12 years old and the mother passed away before 12 years old. It has 12 years have passed. So over here this is considered as simile. There is a direct comparison made between, and if you can still not understand, you can remember these two words, that is like and as. If these words come, then we can say or we can consider this as simile. The last figure of speech, the 11th one is, and of this circumstance there is nothing to say at all. Its silence silences. So here the first one is litotes. Use of negation to convey positive meaning. Words like no, not and never are used in it. So over here the negation conveys a positive meaning, that the poet is speechless and silent, because it is given over here, nothing to say at all. Nothing represents negation, but it conveys a positive meaning also, that the poet is speechless and she cannot say more about anything. The next one is personification. The meaning of it is inanimate objects are given human quality and so they are considered as personification. And over here the inanimate silence has given or has been given the human quality of being speechless. Yes, now silence can never, it is an inanimate object, it is a non-living abstract notion. So still, for poetic effect, poet has used silence as a human quality of giving them or by putting them speechless. And the next one is alliteration. So over here, repetition of consonant sound, especially in the beginning of the word, is said to be alliteration. So over here, the consonant sound S is being repeated in the words say, silence and silences. You can see over here that 3 times the word is being repeated, the letter S is being repeated. So this becomes alliteration. So over here this is all about it. So I hope that you all have understood the explanation of the poetry as well as you have understood the figures of speech. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Dear students, if you find still doubt and difficulties, feel free to comment down in the comment section. Have a great day, everyone.